East African region is home to the second most populated country in Africa and is home to some of the top 10 most populated countries in Africa. In today's video, we are going to cover the top 10 most populated countries in East Africa according to Worldometer, which provides the real-time population of countries worldwide. Number 10. Djibouti, 1.2 million people. Djibouti is one of the smallest countries in Africa by landmass, and the country has a population density of about 50 people per square kilometer. The majority of the population in Djibouti is concentrated in urban areas, with about 72% of Djiboutians living in urban areas. The gender ratio in Djibouti is about 98 males per 100 females, which means there are more females than males in Djibouti. The Somalis are the largest ethnic group in Djibouti, constituting about 60% of the total population. Number 9. Eritrea, 3.5 million people. According to Worldometer, Eritrea has a population density of about 35 people per square kilometer, with the majority of the people, about 73%, living in urban areas. There are about 972 males for every 1,000 females, which means there are more females than males in Eritrea. The Tigrinya are the largest ethnic group, constituting about 50% of the total population. Number 8. South Sudan, 12 million people. South Sudan is the newest country in Africa, with Juba being the newest capital city in Africa. Therefore, majority of the people still live in rural areas, with only 20% of the total population living in urban areas. There are more females than males in South Sudan, with the female population constituting about 50.4% of the total population. The largest ethnic group in South Sudan are the Dinka, who constitute about 35 to 40% of the total population. Number 7. Burundi, 14 million people. With a population density of about 547 people per square kilometer, Burundi is the third most densely populated country in Africa. The majority of people in Burundi still live in rural areas, with only 14% of the total population living in urban areas. There are about 965 males per 1,000 females, which means there are more females than males in Burundi. The Hutu people are the largest ethnic group in Burundi, constituting about 85% of the total population. Number 6. Rwanda, 14 million people. With a population density of about 578 people per square kilometer, Rwanda is the second most densely populated country in Africa. 51% of the population is female, while 49% is male, which means there are more females than males in Rwanda. The majority of Rwandese live in rural areas, with the rural population constituting about 82% of the total population, while only 18% live in urban areas. The largest ethnic group in Rwanda are the Hutus, who constitute about 85% of the total population. Number 5. Somalia, 19 million people. With an annual population growth rate of about 3.4%, Somalia has one of the fastest population growth rates in Africa, and the country has a population density of about 30 people per square kilometer. The majority of the people still live in rural areas, with about 43% living in urban areas. There are more females than males in Somalia, with about 51% of the total population being females. The Somali people are the largest ethnic group, constituting about 85% of the total population in Somalia. Number 4. Uganda, 50 million people. Uganda is one of the most densely populated countries in Africa, with a population density of about 250 people per square kilometer. About 51% of Ugandans are females, which means there are more females than males in Uganda. The majority of Ugandans live in rural areas, with only 29% living in urban areas. The largest ethnic group in Uganda are the Baganda, who constitute about 16.5% of the total population. Number 3. Kenya, 56.4 million people. Kenya is the third most populated country in East Africa, with a population density of about 99 people per square kilometer. About 50.4% of the total population in Kenya are females and 49.6% are males, which means there are more females than males in Kenya. The majority of Kenyans live in rural areas, with about 30% living in urban areas while 70% living in rural areas. The largest ethnic group in Kenya are the Kikuyus, who make about 17% of the total population. Number 2. Tanzania, 68.6 million people. Tanzania is the second most populated country in East Africa and the fifth most populated in Africa, with a population density of about 77 people per square kilometer. There are more females than males in Tanzania, with female population constituting about 51% of the total population. The majority of Tanzanians live in rural areas, with about 39% of the total population living in urban areas. The largest ethnic group in Tanzania are the Sukuma, who constitute about 13% of the total population. Number 1. Ethiopia, 132 million people. And finally topping the list of the top 10 most populated countries in East Africa is Ethiopia. With a population of about 132 million people, Ethiopia is the second most populated country in Africa after Nigeria and the 10th most populated in the world. Ethiopia has a population density of about 132 million people per square kilometer, and the majority of the people live in rural areas, with only 22% of the total population living in urban areas. There are about 991 males for every 1,000 females, which means there are more females than males in Ethiopia. The Oromo ethnic group are the largest ethnic group in Ethiopia, constituting about 35% of the total population. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Be sure to like, share and subscribe as I bring you more information on the African continent, people and culture.